Okay, Shishir Hattangadi knows a thing or two about young Indian talent. Having worked at all levels in India's domestic cricket structure, he joins me from Ahmedabad. Shishir, you know, the win is special. They've reached the final of the Under-19 World Cup. But the margin of victory is what makes this spectacular.
Yes, Digvijay, obviously India is doing things right, at the junior level. But to say that, they haven't been tested in this tournament would be a fair statement. I mean, it just shows how India is forging ahead in terms of their cricketing skills vis-a-vis the other teams. And that, to me, has been the most heartening feature of India's junior cricket.
You know, Shishir, there's a lot of things going right for this team. Obviously, when you have a coach like Rahul Dravid, you expect the batting to click, but the bowlers have bowled out the opposition in every match, and the bowlers have consistently been clocking over 140. That's a telling statement.
It is, and it just tells you that, somewhere with all the controversies that that Indian cricket goes through in the BCCI, they are doing something right in terms of, spotting talent, coaching talent. And if you see the performances, even with the senior side, the bowlers have been doing a job. So I think Rahul Dravid and the bowling coaches need a lot of credit for that. But so do the state level coaches who bring these boys into the forefront, from their performances in under-19 cricket at the state level. So something to be very proud of and something to look forward to. The point I'd like to make, Digvijay, is that 30% only, and only 30% of the boys who play under-19 cricket eventually go on to play for India. That's where I think, the administration, the coaching staff should keep a vigilant eye on these boys, because you expect most of these boys, or at least 70% of these boys, to go on to play for India and do well for India.
Shishir,
I think that is where I think there is room for improvement, and to ensure doing that.
Just on that, because it's an important point you bring up, Shishir, because there's a tendency in Indian cricket and amongst us who watch Indian cricket closely to go overboard when it comes to one performance. But history shows us, as you rightly mentioned, that not every under-19 superstar goes on to become, say, a Virat Kohli or a Harbhajan Singh or a Virender Sehwag or a Yuvraj Singh who have starred in these tournaments in the past. So that transition phase is very important.
And tracking that their progress and their failures, and trying to rectify where the problem is very crucial. I think Indian cricket is in safe hands with Rahul being there, and Rahul will ensure to highlight the fact that a lot of young cricketers fall away because maybe it's lack of focus or lack of focus on technique and temperament, or just the transition is too difficult to cope with. The expectations are very high. And these are things that, Rahul is a master at because he's been through it himself. As I read somewhere, he said he's failed enough in international cricket to talk about failures.
Yes.
I think that's a good way of looking at it, and a very pragmatic way of approaching things and telling the youngsters where they can go wrong.
You spoke about Rahul Dravid, you spoke about temperament. What does this tell you about Rahul Dravid's coaching manual, that a lot of these boys were in that IPL auction just 48 hours previous to that match? Some of them got sold. Combined 7 players went for around 10 crores or just about $1.5 million, yet the focus remained on this game.
Well, it's a tough thing to do, really, to keep the young guys focused with what's happening in India, and especially with the IPL auction. But, no better person than Rahul to be able to tell them to be in the moment and, and focus on the job on hand. And that all these things are peripheries, and they're all value adds to your playing well. And, this is where I think somebody like Rahul, who's seen it all, who also is very balanced in the way he approaches the game, approaches life, in a sense, will be able to control a lot of these, most of these kids. If they listen to him, I think they're on a winner. If they don't, they have themselves to blame.
Well, when you have Rahul Dravid in your corner, you should listen to him. Thank you so much for Shishir. Great listening to you as always.